What is up, Marvelous Talk Land? You are in tune to the Marvelous Talk podcast, with, of course, we're missing one. Shouts out here in Marvelous Talk Land, man. Definitely wish you were here with us. We know that you're out doing ministry right now, so definitely we wish you well. You know, we out in the sticks. You out in the sticks right now, so
Yeah.
but it's me and Big G here tonight, man, and we are gonna get it in. G, how you doing, man?
Man, what's going on to Marvelous Talk? I just want to say, always watching can never interfere.
I love it, man. I love it. But before we get into that, man, we definitely are gonna get into this. And thank you for watching this week's version of Marvelous Talk. Listen, man, what if is here?
Yeah.
What is here? And in the title, it kind of speaks to what you're getting. And they start the whole show off with asking the question, what if? Yeah, and definitely at this point, G, we talked about you and I and Dave, we spoke about what if not being a throwaway. I want to remind everybody that what if is actually canon. It's gonna be canon. So that means that there's a possibility, right? They're leaving this so open that they could actually get one of these characters coming over into the MCU, and that's a big possibility. So what do you think about that? First and foremost, G, what do you think about what if and this actually being an opportunity for them to rope other characters into the MCU?
Well, I love the idea. I mean, I think Kevin Feige and the Marvel Studios sort of had this thing planned out all along. They knew that in order for them to do character development in an expedient way, they was going to have to do something, because if you really think about the recap of this show, it was a 2.5-hour movie that they narrowed down to about 40 minutes. You know, so they was able to bring you different information, bring a different spin on a character that we already know and already been informed that these characters are going to show up in the live universe, man. Which ones and who, we don't know as of yet, but we just know for sure that it's been confirmed by Marvel that these characters are going to be live action. So I love the spin and I love the backdrop of it. As a kid, I'm just going to be honest, I was drawn to the What If comics, you know, and the spins on the What If comics, you know, as a child. My favorite What If comic of all time is, I think it was What If episode number 32, where it said, what if Phoenix had never died? You know, and that's where you saw where, you know, the whole X-Men thing played out and the Phoenix Force lived inside Jean Grey. I think I actually have that comic, and that's one of my favorite comic books of all time.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. And I think you bring up a good point, man. They took a movie that was 3 hours long, and condensed it into 45 minutes. So this is, if you look at this whole What If episode, in episodes, I'm telling you, this is what you're gonna get. Yeah. They're not just the movies that we're thinking that they're using. They're actually pulling from different movies and splicing them all together. And we're gonna jump into this episode and talk about that. One of the things that you saw in this episode with the Tesseract is when Peggy Carter reappeared. When she reappeared, that was from the Avengers, right? And we were Captain America. That was the whole theme of the whole thing. But we went into the Avengers. So you saw two movies mushed together, and they're showing a different spin. We're in her universe. Now, it starts off the same way that Captain America starts off. You know, definitely you see the puny Steve Rogers getting ready to go and take the super soldier serum. And as Steve is getting ready to go take the super soldier serum, you know, we have as happened in the movie, we have a Hydra plant in there, but it happens a little different, right?
Yeah. Hydra always grows up inside of something. You know, whether it's the SSR, which is the old school shield moments, or if it's just, you know, Hydra grows inside of something. That's their whole concept. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Ahmad has frozen. So we're going to keep it moving and start just laying out that concept of what was going on at those beginning scenes. You know, Hydra or the agent that was inside of Hydra, like Mod said, is a total recap from the movie and the show. But the one important thing, or one thing that happened that was so different, which the watcher, Uatu, pointed out, is that the Nexus moment or Nexus event was Peggy Carter staying on the floor. So I got to point that out. Got to tell you that for sure, that Nexus moment was just unbelievable. You know, if you really think about it, and I hate to like ruin it because I know this was a plot point that all of us, as far as the show, wanted to discuss and talk about, was that actually Peggy Carter in the live action Loki? You know, because the directors of Loki completely denied it. They stated that that was not Peggy Carter in the background. The director confirmed it, but we know from what happened on the show that particular day that was Peggy Carter at that Nexus moment. So I don't know if Kevin Feige was trying to pull our leg. I don't know if the director was trying to pull a fast one. I know we got the slow-mo screenshot of her showing up in the background, but I believe that was Peggy Carter. But what shifted and changed the whole scenario was by Peggy Carter stating that she was going to be on the floor. Now the whole group or whole room of people was on the floor versus them being up in the booth. So what I explained to our audience in recap is that I pointed out the Nexus moment where Peggy Carter, you know, changed everything. And her one change or one moment was her actually choosing to be on the floor, which shifted and made everybody else come on the floor, which changed every event.
Changed every event, right?
Yeah. And I haven't really explored that thought or process, but I just laid that information out.
And that's good. Like, you know, I'm sorry about this internet thing, man. It happens especially when you're doing live podcasts. But man, so let's tie this whole thing into Loki and what we saw. We're seeing Nexus events happening in every series at this point, right?
Yeah.
So this is Peggy Carter's Nexus event.
Yeah.
Right. And I know a lot of people from the Loki series were feeling like, not Peggy Carter. But what if?
Yeah.
Same suit. And that was the thing. That was the event that charged the ripples and started everything, right, G?
Yeah, I pointed that out just in that little brief second. But I also want to point out something else. You notice just by her making that change, the spin happened instantaneously. What happened and occurred was her coming to the floor drew everybody else to the floor. Because it drew everybody else to the floor, now that Hydra agent was able to detonate that bomb in a different way that was detonated in Captain America, the First Avenger. So instead of it just blowing up a little area and all whatever else and being a distraction, now because the dynamics of the room changed and the room shift, now everybody basically got blown up except for a couple of people in the room, which changed the dynamic of everything. It still happened, and it still caused the doctor that created the super soldier formula to be deceased, but it changed the dynamic of what was going on in that room. So does it make sense?
Makes a lot of sense to me, G. I definitely understand it, man. So, you know, definitely moving forward, man, and talking about what happens next. What happens next is Peggy Carter. This is what I thought was funny and hilarious. You had Howard Stark. Definitely, they were like, Howard, jump in there. You know, And I was like, man, I just push buttons, man.
Right.
He was like, I just push buttons. I'm not about to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Atypical Stark. Atypical Stark. Yeah.
But imagine if he would have got in that. I mean, think about Howard Stark. It wouldn't have been, think about Tony Stark as a super soldier. Wilding,
Right.
The wild and crazy things that those guys would have done. But anyway, so, Howard refuses and he said, I'm just a button pusher, a moment that'll pay off later on in this actual episode. So Peggy jumps in, man. She responds. She does what she does. She jumps in and, comes out of Amazon. You know what I'm saying? She's huge, and definitely still the same Peggy Carter. And then they played along the same thing that they did with Captain America, not allowing him to get into the fights and get into the wars. And they even made mention to the parading of around that he went on this little parade of events and everything.
Yeah, the whole thing, he thought he was a monkey.
One of them actually clapping.
Right, he actually drew a picture of it when he was on tour, because when they was trying to sell bonds, and Peggy, the tripped out part was Peggy wasn't even able to get that opportunity. Like, it was like this new character, this new army general that they created. This guy is like, you shouldn't even been in the room anyway. You shouldn't have even been, A, B, C, and D. You guys messed up completely. You cost the country $60 million. That's what she was, she was basically told she was a mistake. But you got to think about the mentality of our country at that point.
Yep. And what's up, man? We got a big shout out from our third member, Dane. What's up, Dane?
What's up, Dane?
From the up. I see you, man. Yeah. Definitely want to give us a thumbs up, man. And we out here and we doing it. We miss your presence here. And man, hey, what if? That's why we exploring it. What if? Yeah. Definitely. So you have this whole play happening and this whole thing happening with Peggy Carter. And the thing that I saw here, man, that really caught my eye and caught my attention is how they were sticking to the storyline, right? But changing little pieces. Yeah. Right. And so I'm not going to go play by play, but I'm going to talk about those because I think these are the things that we need to take out of this whole thing.
Right.
The soldier never becomes the winter soldier on Peggy Carter's work.
Right.
That's the first thing. Yeah. The second piece, Steve Rogers, as we know, doesn't become Captain America just yet.
You're right.
You're going to see a different version of him, but he's not Captain America just yet, right?
Yeah.
You don't see him that just yet. We also, one of the things that we see is the track being used inside of the whole iron suit.
Yeah.
And the suit is called the Hydra Stomper. Hydra Stomper, yeah. Inside of the Hydra Stomper, so you see that there. So this is different, right? It's a different play on everything. You're seeing a lot of the same mechanics and the same path being walked down in this episode, but the difference is that you're seeing the turn on just that one main thing happening. That one main thing happened changes everything.
Well, the whole thing about, and I got to point this out too, about that whole Howard Stark creating the first Iron Man suit. If you remember back to Captain America, the First Avenger, he had a car that was up on stage and he had shown how it was able to gravitate and levitate. So he was on the technology in some capacity to build an Iron Man suit. He's the one that passed the information on to Tony concerning the arc reactor and how it works and what it does and how it powers. So now you give Howard Stark not an arc reactor, something he creates, but you actually give him a Tesseract. And his first model, based on what they had as far as technology, weapons assessments, and all whatever else, his Iron Man suit rivaled almost that first Iron Man suit that we saw.
That Tony,
not the one that he made in the cave. I'm talking about the one where he actually went into battle.
Right.
And that's 1940s technology. So my whole thinking about that what if moment is like, man, if Stark is making suits before Tony is born, what kind of, are we going to be on Mach 98, Mach 99, Mach 1001 by the time we get to Tony? Because his dad already does it, so that's, that was like a big thing to me.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And then, like I said, you have you still have some of the common characters, but those characters aren't going to be long with us, right? Because, of course, they're going to be here and they're here in some capacity, but they're being changed. And from what we've heard and everything that we've heard, we're going to have Captain Carter in a live version in the MCU somewhere. Just don't know where she's going to show up. So that's going to happen.
Right. We don't even really know the name. I mean, Steve Rogers' name said Captain Carter. Now, I've heard all kind of rumors that this is the introduction to Captain Britain.
Well, he can't, right? They can't because they've already dropped Captain Britain's name.
Well, Brian Braddock.
Yeah, they've already dropped his name.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't know. I mean, because we're talking about the multiverse. So is this particular person, this Peggy, is this the Captain Britain from that universe that's going to team up? And so for you guys that don't know, the Captain Britain character is huge as far as the Marvel universe and the comic books and everything is concerned. For those that like the DC, because we've had some people on that's chimed in on our show, like, why did you guys talk about DC and all whatever else? Well, here's a DC moment for you. The Captain Britain is called the Captain Britain Corps, just like the Green Lantern Corps. The Green Lantern Corps protect our universe and all the different sectors. The Captain Britain Corps protect their reality. The Captain Britain Corps is actually Nexus beings that are placed in every reality as a protector of that reality.
Right, so, because Captain Britain is it's based on kind of like not Camelot, but what's that?
It's absolutely Camelot. It's Merlin.
Is it Camelot? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Captain Britain comes from the same lineage as the Black Knight, which we're going to see in the Eternals. Merlin, that whole lineage of mythology, of magic, and all whatever else. Captain Britain is actually Brian Braddock becomes Captain Britain because of Merlin. So it's all on that same ideology. I think that this is once again Kevin Feige combining characters, because the reference point was not like Captain Britain's British soldier, uniform or costume. It was more like Union Jack. And for those of y'all that don't know who Union Jack is an actual member of the Invaders, which was the first World War II super team that Captain America belonged to in the comic books, which was the original Human Torch, Toro, Submariner, Bucky Barnes, the Wizard. These are people, All-American Girl. These are heroes that was tied. The Invaders was before the Avengers. So, I don't know if this is a throwback or callback to sort of like how they did the Loki character and like blended her, the female version, into two different characters. I don't know if Kevin Feige's taking that liberty, but I think that's what's going on.
So just to kind of wrap it up in a pretty bow, I just need you guys to pay attention, because literally this may end up being not just a comic book series to where we're giving you something till we get to Shang-Chi, but this is actually kind of laying railroad tracks leading us to something else and bringing in other characters, right? Yeah. Bringing them in from different universes and different times. You have to understand the Infinity Gauntlet series, that whole timeline that we saw.
10 years
was an alternate reality.
Yeah.
That's not designed right now. That's an alternate reality.
Yeah.
That's just an alternate timeline. So right now we don't know where we're headed, right?
Right.
All we know is that they're laying groundwork and tracks for us to be able to get to a place to where the reality is set again and set in stone, right?
Well,
so
Go ahead. Think about this. I don't know if we're going to, talk all the way through the show like how you said. But, the events of even something as simple as Zoloft being captured and the SSR, pre-SSR, which is pre-Shield, having the Tesseract the entire time. They like Red Skull had it for like a hot second, and I don't want to ruin what happened to him. Mod is probably gonna bring it up, but he had it for like a little hot second, and then that whole scenario changes another outline about the stone, because we know something, the Red Skull's stone that Red Skull's tied to, but now something else happens to him. So this thing is getting real different. So
what if he's now not tied to the Soul Stone?
Yeah, because I'm just going to, like I said, we're just going to talk little bit by little bit about the show, right? So not ruining it, but letting you know that Red Skull was sort of like knocked out comic book style and killed, which we've seen on a regular basis happen in comic books, because in comic books, nobody dies, people come back. So you see Red Skull get killed by this octopus-like creature, which is, I think, Shumagorath. And Shumagorath is a Doctor Strange huge Easter egg. Shumagorath's enemies are Mephisto and fights like the satanic type nightmare characters in the comic book land. And we've already got the rumor that Shumagorath is going to appear in Doctor Strange 2. So the spin is, did Shumagorath kill the Red Skull and then get killed by Peggy Carter? And so now there's no Shumagorath in that timeline, which in turn means that now Doctor Strange, which means Mephisto never had to fight Shumagorath. And so now does Mephisto now attack Doctor Strange and all the other little different things that we see in spins? So when like Mod was saying, when this thing lays Easter eggs, it's laying layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer to an alternative reality, an alternative universe. So what could we see? You never know. I mean, I really do believe that moving forward, and we already know this, Marvelous Talk, that we're going to get 9 episodes of the What If series. And we have already been told that we're going to have 2 seasons of the What If series. So 9 episodes, possibly 18 episodes of What If. And we do know that those things are going to be canon. So if we're going to get 9 episodes and then tie into possibly 2 seasons and 18 episodes, and then all these little building blocks and Easter eggs and bricks that they're laying has direct effect on who might come to the big screen out of a live action comic book. Ma, what I told them was about Shumagorath possibly being the thing or the creature that Peggy Carter was fighting.
If you think about that, right? If you think about that, you've already got Russell Crowe's character. Who's he playing, right? Yeah. Who's he playing? He's playing Hercules, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if he's playing Hercules, one of Hercules' tasks was to beat who?
Shumagorath. Right.
So it's one of the things.
Shumagorath was a big Doctor Strange enemy, and also a big Mephisto enemy, and a big Dormammu enemy, enemy.
We still looking for Mephisto, huh?
I'm not looking for him, but I'm just saying that if Peggy Carter chopped Shumagorath up, because we see that, and then Shumagorath is not around, how much was a distraction was the fight between Mephisto, and Shumagorath? How much now is he not distracted? Can Mephisto concentrate on our reality? How much more now can Dormammu concentrate on our reality? We don't, like I said, it's almost like you take the stone, you throw it to the middle of the water, and the ripple effects, it goes where we don't see it, but under the water, it's still got ripple effects. So one little stone getting tossed in changes everything.
Definitely. And you guys, man, once again, like I said, it was going to be a brief, definitely a brief review of this tonight. We wanted to go over the What If series. keep watching. We want you to keep watching. Definitely when it comes down to it, you're going to get a lot of solid information. We could go over and review and go over this thing with a fine-tooth comb because there's so many different things in here that you have to pay attention to. But we wanted to just come on tonight and make sure that we touch some of the things and told you what to look forward to on this What If series, man. And definitely shouts out again to our boy Dame, who's out in Michigan doing his thing. Big G, you got anything?
No, man, I'm so excited about the What If series. And like I said, the thing that's moving forward, like I said, I already know what storyline 2 is going to be, but I don't want to ruin it for our audience. But the thing is, please, 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 you guys, watch this, because I believe there's going to be one huge character that's going to show up on the big screen that's going to rectify and fix a lot of things that's happened behind the scenes.
Go ahead and tell them, G. We know who it is.
Yeah, tell them. I believe this is my prediction for the What If series. I believe because of the loss of Chadwick Boseman, and that T'Challa will not be our reality, or that particular reality's Black Panther. I believe that Killmonger, we've already seen it from the trailer, that Killmonger is going to rescue Tony Stark. We've already seen Killmonger riding a rhino, which was with the border tribe of the Black Panther, the Wakandans, Black Panther's people. So, and we saw, if you stop the image and slow down, as far as the What If beginning, where you see all the shards of glass, there's the Black Panther with the gold necklace around walking through, right? So I believe that you're going to see Killmonger grow up as a tribe leader or part of the Wakandan people. And you're going to see Killmonger take the mantle of the Panther. And I believe that's how they're going to work and fix to bring that Michael B. Jordan Panther into what we know as far as our reality and cover the Black Panther. I really do believe it. And if
think
that
about
happens,
this.
I'm going to be so excited. I don't know what,
Think about this, G, to kind of support your theory. We've already seen T'Challa, and we already know that Chadwick's last effort was What If, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to be Star-Lord.
Yeah.
We already know he's Star-Lord. So he's moved out the way. And if we're taking these characters and making them into live characters, there you go. There's your fix. There's your fix. And you guys, see, we do this. We do this for real, man. And if you love what we do and you love our content, make sure you mash that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. We're here for you and yours. And definitely until next week, make it a marvelous talk week. We out of here, man.